this Journey to Ungoro card review. So last time we had a look at some of the cards which have been announced recently. Now I'm going to look at the cards which have been announced since I made that video, and then maybe there'll be a third part to mop up whatever is left over after that. I've noticed with this kind of announcement, there are some really big cards which have been announced, but there's also a lot of kind of like what I would call common cards. Well, not what I would call, but what Hearthstone calls common cards, I guess, in that there's cards which they're kind of fairly basic. There's not a huge amount to talk about with them, but they're there, you know, and they could synergise well with other things. So we're going to take a look at all the cards now, starting from a mana perspective. So the first one we're going to have a look at is the 2 mana cost 1/2 Murloc, the Primal Fin Champion. So this fella, he's got a death right. Return any spells you cast on this minion to your hand. It's a paladin card as well, so a class card. Pretty interesting. I like the idea behind it. You can buff it but not lose your buffs to get some sort of like early board presence, but I don't know, it seems a little I don't want to say expensive, but like it's a little bit too focused on 1 minion, if you know what I mean, for my personal liking. I guess it could work really well, and again, unless your opponent silences it or, you know, manages to, I guess the worry with it would be if your opponent stole it. You know, we talk about Potion of Madness. Your potion, if your opponent manages to steal it, kills it, they get all the buff cards. But again, that's a unique scenario, I guess. But I quite like it. It's interesting. It's a Murloc at the end of the day as well, which is quite interesting as well. It's good to see some Murlocs coming in as well. So yeah, I like it. I definitely would play around with that card, I think, a little bit, see how it goes. I think it's one of those cards where you'd have to play it to really try and appreciate whether it was good or not. I like the idea behind it. Just sometimes when you look at something and like it, you actually go and play it, and you're like, I don't know if this is that good. But we'll see. We've got another 2 cost minion here. This is a Shaman card, an Elemental Fire Plume Harbinger. Yeah, Harbinger. I always want to say Harbinger, but it's a 1/1 Elemental, as I said, and its battle cry reduces the cost of elementals you have by 1. So it's kind of like the Paladin cards, which buff in a way. You know, that low cost thing, you chuck it out there, buffs your cards. It's kind of like low cost. You know, chuck it out there, reduce the cost of cards in your hand. 1/1 for 2, though, you know, it seems a little bit pricey for what you've got, and if you've only got a couple of elementals in there, I mean, it could make a difference, sure, but I don't know about that one too much. Next up, we've got the 2 cost 3/2 Crackling Razormaw. Battlecry, adapt a friendly beast. It's a beast as well as a hunter card. I think that's a really good card. I like this a lot. I think Hunter has seen a real power shift so far, and I think Hunter's going to come back big time but people talk about the way like Priest has been maligned and stuff like that, but I think Hunter in the last expansion took a big whack, really did. It got out aggroed, which is what it does supposedly best, by like pirate decks and stuff like that, and its mid-range game was nothing compared to, like, you know, the Reno Locks or the you know, Dragon Priest and things like that. Yeah, I don't know, I always felt confident coming up against a Hunter, which is really bad because in the past Hunters have been, you know, really feared for their kind of beast synergies and things, and I think this is really good. So it'll adapt the friendly beast you have on the board. I like it, it's good. Yep. I'd probably put that in for sure instead of something like I can't even remember what it is now, but the usual kind of 2 cost things you see. Huge Toad, that's the one. I'd put it in instead of a Huge Toad for sure. Next up we have the Warrior card, the 2 cost 2/6. Showing it's a taunt as well, so it's coming up with like shades of Dirty Rat there, but it's the Cornered Sentry. Its taunt is Battlecry, summon 3/1/1 raptors for your opponent. I really hope that when you play this, it goes clever girl, as in like Jurassic Park reference, but it probably won't. Oh, it could do, I guess, but I don't know. Maybe it doesn't. We'll see. I hope it does. Yeah. Again, it's one of those ones where you're like, so you really only getting a 3-2, but I don't know. It seems very situational. I mean, I'm assuming those raptors would be beasts, so if you're playing against a hunter, it could be really bad for you. But I don't know, maybe in a tight situation it's not too bad. I mean, a 2-cost 2/6 is obviously amazing, but without the kind of like fun, I guess, of a dirty rat. The dirty rat can win you a game straight out, it can lose you a game straight out, as I've proved many a time. So yeah, I guess we'll see with that one. But again, building up this warrior taunt kind of mechanic that they're trying to push, I guess. Next up we have a rogue card. Rogue, I've noticed, are getting lots of plant cards. It's a 2-cost 1/1 biteweed combo. Gain +1/+1 for each other card you've played this turn. So it's kind of like a mini Edwin Van Cleef, isn't it? I think that's pretty good. You know, you could easily probably get like a 4/4 or a 5/5. You know, with Rogue or even something bigger. So I think that'll see some play. It's obviously not as powerful as Van Cleef, but it's cheaper and you can put 2 of them in your deck. So yeah, you know, combine that with like, you know, was it the Questing Adventurer or even Van Cleef itself? It's pretty solid, I think. Actually, I quite like that card. I definitely think we're going to see a lot of combo decks in Rogue, but it's important to remember they're losing their stealth, so that will be a big hit to those type of decks, but also make them a bit fairer as well. Next up, we have the 2-cost priest spell, Shadow Visions. Discover a copy of a spell in your deck. I could see this being pretty good, especially if you know, in priest you have some pretty good spells, in tomb, death, something like that. But I mean, it's discover, so you get 3 choices, which actually is a lot better than just a copy of a spell in your deck. But then it's like 2 mana, so it's basically 2 mana to draw something from your deck, which is actually, you know, and choose what you want, which is actually pretty good if you think about tracking for Hunter, where you actually discard it. This, you actually don't even lose a card, so I think that's pretty good. Yeah, especially kind of like late game if you're struggling. You know, I've played many times in Priest where it's like, oh my god, where's my death, where's my entomb, you know, this would make a difference and this card would be able to bring it out. So it's pretty good. Next up, we have the 2-cost rogue spell, Razor Petal Volley. Add 2 razor petals to your hand that deal 1 damage. Yeah, so it's just like a small kind of like damage type thing. It's a bit weird that it adds them to your hand, then you have to play them as well. It's, I don't know, but I guess at least it splits the damage for you, allows you to split that damage pretty well, so it's kind of good, I guess. And there's another load of, so each class seems to have like a 2-cost spell, but we've got the mage one next, which is the Primordial Glyph. Discover a spell, reduces cost by 2. That's pretty good. Yeah, I could see that playing, especially think of that with like Archmage Antonidas. It's pretty good. Yeah, I quite like that as well. I could see that getting played in some mage decks. Grievous Bite, Hunter card, 2 costs, deal 2 damage to a minion and 1 damage to adjacent ones. That's actually pretty good. I don't think Hunter's got a lot of like low cost damage spells. It obviously has, you know, it's bigger stuff which you can use, but you know, something low down to just give you that edge on the board. You know, potentially your opponent's chucked out a few minions by turn 3 or something. You've got this, you can just wipe them out or at least do a lot of damage to them. So I think that's a really, really strong card actually for Hunter. I would definitely play that in a Hunter deck. Even late game, that could be pretty good as well. So I guess we'll see. And another Hunter spell, which I think is really, really strong as well, and I will 100% play this. It's called Dynamancy. 2 cost. Your hero power becomes give a beast +2/+2. Okay, this combined with the quest, the Hunter quest we saw. I mean, it's out of control. Like, I worry now about Hunter. Before it was like, oh, this looks great fun, Hunter. Now I'm worried that Hunter's just, we're seeing it get pushed towards a certain deck, and this was what I was worried about. With expansions and with the way they've done, it's kind of almost like they are making you play a certain deck instead of turning around and going, okay, there's these cards, there's all these different combo things you can do with them. Instead, it's kind of like, okay, you have to have this card in your deck because it's really powerful, you have to have this card in your deck, it's really powerful. And it gets to the point where everyone's just playing the same thing all the time. I really hope that's not the case. Again, there's still loads of cards to go, so we'll see, but this seems super powerful. The ability to people like playing Control Hunter, but the problem with the Hunter hero power is it doesn't do anything on the board. So if you're trying to control the board, you need something that's going to do something on the board. You have Priest which can heal, Warlock can draw your cards, Paladin's got your 2/1/1s, etc, etc. Mage can hit. So to change that to something which is actually a super powerful thing, and I'm assuming you can then direct which piece you want it on. So if you're chucking out those raptors and you're just able to give them +2/+2 as well, one of them +2/+2, that's chuck out Garrison Commander. Yeah, it's I think Garrison Commander's neutral. I don't think I've ever actually used it, but so I worry they're pushing Hunter in one direction, but we'll see, I guess. Next up we have the Warlock spell, Blood Bloom, 2 cost. The next spell you cast this turn costs health instead of mana. Yeah, I could see that. They have a lot of this kind of mechanic in Warlock where it's costing you health, and I guess it is very lore friendly, isn't it? So yeah, I could see that being okay. I don't know if I'd play that in place of another powerful Warlock card, but I guess we'd see. I think maybe there's some fun you could have with things, but we'll see. 3 cost Beast next neutral, Vicious Fledgling, 3/3. After this minion attacks a hero, adapt. I actually think that's pretty good. Obviously you have to attack the hero, so it has to survive on board, but that's actually not bad. 3/3 for 3 is not great stat line, but it's not terrible. And then if you're thinking about it, once it adapts, it could then get like a Divine Shield, or it could get extra attack or health, or all of those types of things. So I'd definitely probably play around with that, but we'll see, I guess, along those lines. Next up we have the Thunder Lizard, 3 cost neutral again, 3/3 again, Beast again, Battlecry if you played an elemental last turn, adapt. So again it's got the elemental mechanic. I don't really have a lot to say about that, to be honest with you, just that I don't know if that sort of thing will get played. It's a common card. I don't know, it seems a bit too situational. 3 cost 3/3 Hunter card, Terror Scale Stalker, Battlecry, trigger a friendly minion's death rattle. I was trying to think of like death rattles in Hunter in particular, and there are a few good ones. Obviously it would be fantastic if we still had something like Sylvanas in play, but she's going on the long journey to the to the other side, to the wild side. But yeah, it could be pretty good. Obviously we have like the Raptor which copies it in Rogue. This to just trigger something without actually killing it, that's pretty good. Yeah, it might get played. Importantly, it's not a beast or anything like that, so it's things to remember like that. Next up we have the common neutral card, sorry, not common. 3 cost Stonehill Defender. It's a 1/4 with taunt. Battlecry, discover a taunt minion. Pretty standard, I guess. I guess the discover a taunt minion could be good, but 1/4 for 3 is pretty pants, isn't it? So I don't know. Maybe someone can make something out of that. I always look at these battle cries now with a pinch of salt because we won't have Bran, so it makes things a bit weaker. Next up we have a 3 cost 2/2 Beast, the Pterodax Hatchling. adapt. Again, I don't know. I don't think that's that good or interesting, but I could be wrong. I don't think it's going to do a huge amount though. Next, we have the 3-cost Igneous Elemental. Death Rattle, add 2/1/2 elementals to your hand. It's 2/3 for 3. It's not bad actually, to be fair, especially if you're trying to play those elemental cards, build it up, and you want cheap ones. We've seen other, the quest as well, and other cards which, buff depending on the elementals they have, I guess. All the elementals you played last turn and stuff like that. It could be pretty good. For a neutral as well, so you can play against, playing all decks as well. It could be alright. Next up, we have another one of those can't attack cards. The 3-cost 4/8 Humongous Razor Leaf. Can't attack. It's a 4/8 for 3 though. So, am I right in thinking that's better than like the Watcher and things like that? I thought Watcher was like a 3/5 for 2. I can't remember now, but there's something else to add into those Priest of Silence decks, I guess, but I don't know if that will make a huge comeback. It's something I'd probably definitely look to play around with though. It could be good fun. And a 4/8 for 3, which you then could silence. Yeah, it'd be pretty good. Let's bring back Purified 2017. It's a neutral as well, so you can play in any deck. Next up, we have the 3-cost Hot Spring Guardian. It's a Shaman card, elemental. Taunt, Battlecry, restore 3 health, 2/4. Yeah, people like these types of cards. I'm not a big fan of the ones which do small amounts of health, but it does make a difference. A Shaman though doesn't really need another card which gives it health. I don't know. It's an elemental as well, so I think that could be pretty powerful, definitely. Next up, we have the Giant Wasp. This is interesting. It's a beast. It's 2/2. It's got stealth and it's poisonous. Poisonous meaning that it kills whatever it attacks, regardless of their health. As something which you could use, I guess, to just knock out a big minion. Yeah, pretty good. I don't know again how much something like this will get played. We have other cards which do similar things, but they don't have stealth, importantly, so that could be a big plus. You could force your opponent to play, board clear when they don't want to. It could be interesting. Next up, we have the 3-cost 5/1 beast, the Elder Longneck's Battlecry. If you're holding a minion with 5 more attack, adapt. So the adapt you'd probably choose would be the health one, right? Because otherwise, you're gonna die. It's a druid card. Sorry, I should have said it's a druid beast card. So there are synergies with other beast cards. You could chuck on the Mark of your Sage or something like that, isn't it? I think, which buffs it a little bit and draws you a card. And of course, if you're playing maybe like a Rampant Druid, you're going to have minions which have 5 or more attack probably in your hand, so it could be okay. Yeah, I think we'll see with that one. Next up, we have the Egg Napper. I mean, I love the card art on this. Firstly, it's awesome. It's like a bad Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle, isn't it? It's a 3-cost 3/1, so not great. In fact, pretty bad. But it's Death Rattle summon 2/1/1 raptors, which I'm assuming are going to be beasts again, and that's pretty good. I think there could be some fun to be had with this card, but just looking at it now, it doesn't look like it's going to get into what could be a very strong hunter deck. Although admittedly, it's not a hunter card; it's a common card. It's a neutral card. You can play it in any deck. So maybe I don't know. We'd have to wait and see. There's lots of different synergies. I guess you could play with it. It could be interesting. It's an interesting card. I'm going to give you that much. The 3/1 though is the thing which is like, ugh. But we'll see. Next up, we have another egg. Yay! Egg Meta, 2017. 3-cost Devil Saw Egg, 0/3. So it has a bit more health than normal eggs, I think. But it's Death Rattle with summon a 5/5 Devil Saw. We've seen 5/5 Devil Swords before. If you have Tinkmaster Overspark, you'll know that, well, you probably never see it because he always gives you a squirrel, right? Always gives me a bloody squirrel anyway. But pretty interesting, I think. I don't know what you can do with eggs. It's a common card, so it's sorry, neutral. I keep saying common. I apologise. It's not what it is. It's not actually a common card at all. It's a rare, but yeah, there could be some egg fun to be had. Maybe playing around with. We'll see. Next up, we have a Warlock, 3-cost beast. Another Warlock beast. We spoke about Warlock beast before, didn't we? We were like, why the hell is there beast in Warlock? But it's called a Chittering Tunneler. Battlecry, discover a spell, deal damage to your hero equal to its cost. I mean, it could be super powerful, could be super terrible, couldn't it? The spell would be a class spell as well. So, Twisting Nether would probably be out of the picture, or Doom, but unless you really needed it, I don't know. We'll see. I mean, you couldn't play it that turn, but you could get something interesting, I guess. Yeah, it's interesting. Next up, we have the Shaman card, a 3-cost Spirit Echo. Give your minions Death Rattle, return this to your hand. That's pretty good. Gotta say, that's pretty good. Give your minions, so everything you have on board, it's only 3 cost. That seems pretty strong to me. Yeah, I would play that for sure. It's kind of like Echo of Medivh, isn't it? A little bit, which is a card I really liked. Admittedly, perhaps not as good as Echo of Medivh, but it's there, So we'll see, I guess. Next up, we have a Rogue card again. 3-cost and Venom Weapon. Give your weapon poisonous. So that's pretty good. So you could even do that to your hero power. Poisonous, as I said before, means you just kill something no matter how much health it has. So that could be really powerful. Obviously, it means your hero would probably take quite a lot of damage. I guess it'd be super cool if you could combine it with Blade Flurry. Obviously, I think Blade Flurry's in Wild now, is it? I can't remember. I don't play a lot of Rogue. But if it isn't, that's super powerful. You could just get a complete board clear from it, which would be pretty good. But it probably costs you quite a lot of mana, to be fair. But still, it could be worth it. Next up, we have a Legendary, the 4-cost 3/3, the Vorax. It looks pretty scary. After you cast a spell on this minion, can't summon a 1/1 plant and cast another copy on it. So it's kind of like a genie-ish. Yeah. So you could buff this. It's a common legendary as well. It's not a class legendary. So you could buff this, and then it summons a 1/1, which will also get buffed. So this and Blessing of Kings, for example, would be really quite powerful for what would be 8 mana. You'd get yourself a 7/7 and a 5/5. Yeah, I'll take that. Pretty good. I reckon you could have some real good fun with that. Really good fun. I reckon you could break the game with that, probably. I'll have to watch out for Disguised Toast. I'm sure he will have a look at things like that. Next up, we have a 4-cost neutral Taunt Beast 2/6. Not a lot to say about that, really. It's one of those sort of filler cards, I think. Next up, we have the Mage card, the 4-cost 5/4 Elemental Steam Surger. Battlecry, if you played an Elemental last turn, add a Flame Geyser to your hand. So that's, again, Elemental synergies around things. The Flame Geyser we looked at last time. It's a 2 mana spell. Deal 2 damage, add a 1/2 Elemental to your hand. If you only get one of those, a 5/4 for 4 is not terrible though, if you're playing a Mage Elemental deck, I guess all the things building up, again, you don't really know till you see all the cards how good these Elementals could be. But it looks like they're going to be fun, and that's important, I guess. So yeah, quite like that card, I think. Spirit Singer Umbra. It's neutral legendary, so any class can play it. After you summon a minion, trigger its death rattle effect. That's pretty cool. I like that. So as soon as you summon it, it'll trigger its death rattle. That could be really, really powerful. Yeah, I quite like that. That seems like that could be really good fun. Especially if a lot of like low-cost death rattle stuff, they might not do that much. But imagine playing this with a Devil Saw egg. You're just summoning 5/5 Devil Saws. That would be pretty cool, actually. Plus, once those eggs died, you then get more Devil Saws. So you could do some cool stuff with that. I like that. Actually, I like that a lot. Next up, we have a Druid card, the 4-cost 3/3 Shell Shifter. Choose one, transform into a 5/3 with Stealth or a 3/5 with Taunt. That's pretty useful. I'm assuming if you have, what's his face? Can't remember his name now, but the legendary who allows you to choose both. Then you get a 5/5 with Stealth and Taunt, which is pretty good. Obviously, it means you'd have to have him already in play, but otherwise, I think the 4-cost for 3/5 with Taunt, a 5/3 with Stealth might be pretty good. Again, one of those ones that you have to see, like, what do you take out of a Druid deck to fit that in? That's the question. Next up, the Warlock minion, Ravenous Pterodax. 4-cost 4/4 Beast again. Another Beast, Warlock Beast. Is this the year of the Warlock Beast? It's weird, but maybe. Battlecry, destroy a friendly minion to adapt twice. I'm just trying to read that in my head. So when you play it, you can destroy a friendly minion, so anything you have in your board, and it adapts twice, assuming you can just play it with no minions and it's just a 4/4. If you've got Imp Central out there, that is a super, super powerful card. But again, very situational. I mean, in terms of Warlock, like, it is a lot of Warlocks play decks where you have a lot of like 1/1 imps out and things like that, so I could genuinely see this being quite good. Probably pretty good fun as well. Yeah, I'd take a look at that probably. It's a common card as well, so it wouldn't even cost you a lot to craft it. Next up, we have the Mage card, Molten Reflection. It's a spell, 4-cost. Choose a friendly minion, summon a copy of it. That could be really powerful, especially with a powerful legend. I'm thinking if you have Archmage Antonidas down and it survives a turn and you cast this on it, then you're getting the fireball, and then you then have 2 arch. Yeah, that could be good fun. Again, it's that kind of like copy mechanic we've seen a few times, which could be pretty good, I guess. Could also be terrible as well, depending on what you got on board, but I guess we'll see. I'm just thinking Blood of the Ancient One. That would be pretty cool. Yeah. Okay. So we have next up the Paladin card, 4-cost 3/4 Beast, Light Diffused Stegodon. Battlecry, adapt your Silverhand recruits. So now we're seeing something which does something to Silverhand recruits. So we've had some. We had that like what looked like a kind of pants card, which gave you two Silverhand recruits as just a spell, but actually play that first, then play this. Maybe Hero Power as well if it's late on. Adapt them, could be pretty good fun. Yeah, I could see that. And moving on, we now have the neutral Fire Plume Phoenix, 4-cost 3/3 Battlecry, deal 2 damage. Elemental as well. Yeah, it's probably pretty good actually. 4-cost is obviously it's expensive because it does 2 damage straight out the board, but it's an elemental as well, so that could work out pretty well if you're playing elemental decks. So I think that's actually probably one of the better of the like common neutral cards. Next up we have is Is this a neutral spell? I think it is. Evolving Spores. A 4-cost. Adapt your minions. Yeah, it could be good. I kind of like the evolve mechanics. They're pretty cool. They're a lot of fun. Usually just with Shaman, but this isn't a Shaman card, so that could be good fun. I don't know, 4-cost, I guess it's always giving you something positive, whereas when you evolve things, it can sometimes be negative for you. So, yeah, I guess pretty good, especially if you have full board, you know. Again, good work with those Silverhand recruits, you know, anything which can get a lot of minions out. Pirate decks would probably love that, wouldn't they? Next up we have the 4-cost 3/4 Bright-Eyed Scout. Battle cry, draw a card, change its cost to 5. It could be really good, I guess, for those ramp decks, but don't know if it's the sort of thing that I would personally want to go and play, but I guess we'd see on that one. Next up we have the Shaman card, Tidal Surge. Cool card art. 4-cost, deal 4 damage to a minion, restore 4 health to your minion. To your hero, sorry. Restore 4 health to your hero. Yeah, it's okay. I think 4-cost is a lot, but you do get the 2 things. I don't know if it would see. This seems to be more powerful cards in Shaman I would use over this, but again, we'll see. People know more about Hearthstone than me, so I guess we'll see. Okay guys, next up we have the Obsidian Shard, which is a weapon. 4-cost 3/3, costs 1 less for each card you've played from another class. So Rogue obviously doing pretty, kind of pushing it towards that Swashbuckler, you know, kind of synergy there. I guess if you could, even if you played 1 and it only costs 3, that's actually pretty good value for a 3 attack, 3 duration weapon. So I quite like that card. I think it seems to be pretty decent. Obviously, only really effective in one particular type of deck, but I think the Swashbuckler is a pretty good card that most people play in decks anyway. So we'll see. I guess maybe in like a pirate deck it could potentially see some play, but you never really know, do you? And next we have the Warlock, the Tarlurk, a 5-cost 1/7 elemental with taunt, and has +3 attack during your opponent's turn. So what was it called? The other Tar Creeper, which was the 3-cost 1/5. This is a 5-cost 1/7 elemental. Again, Warlock. I don't know about these cards. I like the Tar Creeper. I think this one seems a little bit outpriced. 4/7 is good, and it has taunt, so that's good. It'd be a real pain in the backside for your opponent, but and the elemental synergy could count for something. But I think that one might be a little bit either understated or too expensive, potentially. Next up, another neutral card, the 5-cost 4/5 elemental, Servant of Kalimos. Battlecry, if you've played an elemental last turn, discover an elemental. So that kind of seems a little bit better because it keeps you that flow of elementals running through your deck as well. Which, I mean, it's probably by turn 5 if you're playing this, you may well have played an elemental before. You could potentially discover, like, you know, a really powerful elemental, or you might want something, you know, a little bit cheaper. It's a neutral card, so it works in any deck. I think that's okay actually. 5-cost 4/5 is not terrible either. Next up we have the common card, the 5-cost 4/7 Beast, Nesting Rock. Battlecry, if you control at least 2 other minions, gain taunt. Yeah, I guess that's okay. Beast synergy there, working well with Hunter, I guess. Maybe you'd want something more attacking, and for it not to just guarantee to have taunt. I don't know. We'd see on that one, I guess. Next up we have the Priest Legendary, Lyra, the Sun Shard. 5 cost 3/5 elemental. Whenever you cast a spell, add a random pre-spell to your hand. That's pretty cool, I think. Priest has a lot of kind of like low cost, really good, like potentially good spells. My personal opinion is I think that would work really well in the silence deck, because you could play that, you could silence some of your stuff which can't attack, and then you're just getting random pre-spells, which could be really good as well from there. So I actually really like that card. I think that's really good. 5 cost 3/5 is not the end of the world. It's fairly difficult to kill, I guess. Well, it's not really easy, but it's not super difficult. So yeah, I like it. I like it a lot. Next up, we have the 5 cost warrior card, Direhorn Hatchling, who looks very, very cute. He's a 3/6 beast, has taunt, and his death rattle shuffle a 6/9 Direhorn with taunt into your deck. So I guess that's like the mother, who's a bit pissed. 5 cost 3/6 is not great, but obviously getting the 6/9 Direhorn with taunt into your deck is good. So I could see that getting some play there. Perhaps in control warrior, I don't know. We'd see. That's cool, especially if you could get it with things which trigger death rattles, stuff like that. It could be cool. The Spirit Singer Umbra, who after you summon a minion trigger its death rattle effect, yeah, you'd get 2 of those 6/9 Direhorns with taunt. That could be really good. Next up we have the 5 cost 8/8 beast. Wow, that's a big card for 5. Pt2 Hydra. Whenever this minion takes damage, deal 3 damage to your hero. So I guess it could be good if you had it behind taunt and you were just attacking face. Like, you could do serious damage, but it could also totally kill you. I mean, it's not as bad as those things which does, what is it, the Wrath card, I think it is, which does damage. Whatever damage you do to it, it does to your hero. So if you nuke this, you only can do 3 damage to your hero, so that's pretty good. But if you do manage to chip away at it with a few cards, then eventually your hero's going to take quite a lot of damage, could kill you. But I quite like it. I quite like that risk reward sort of synergy there. And a 5 cost 8/8 is super powerful beast as well, so maybe in those under decks we'd see some play. I quite like it, definitely. Next up we have the warrior card, 5 cost Sudden Genesis. Summon copies of your damaged minions. It's a little bit like Blood Brothers, isn't it? But actually summons the copies. So if you had like 3 damaged things on your board, it would summon copies of it. We can assume that they will be damaged because it says copies, but they might not be. I don't actually know for sure at this time. I'm sure that could be quite powerful as well, I guess. Again, I don't play a lot of warriors, so I don't really know how well that's going to do, but I think it looks quite good fun anyway, at least. We have a warlock spell next, 5 cost Feeding Time. Deal 3 damage to a minion, summon 3 1/1 pterodaxes. I guess if you're playing like a zoo deck, it's okay. You can do that damage. It has to be to a minion though, it can't be to the hero. And then you get 3 things on your board which potentially you could buff up, or could work with other synergies. But yeah, not too sure on that one, to be completely honest with you. It seems fairly expensive for what you're getting. And we have the Paladin spell, the 6 cost Spike Ridged Steed. Give a minion +2/+6 and taunt. When it dies, summon a Stegodon. So when there's a Stegodon, I have to just click on this to find out. Where's the Stegodon? It doesn't show me. Oh, here we go. It's a 4 cost 2/6 with taunt. Okay, that seems fairly good. If you chop that down on a silver hand, you're kind of getting like a really good sludge belcher with that. So that seems like a really good card, actually. I like that one a lot. Next up we have the 6 cost neutral Sabertooth Stalker. Has stealth, it's an 8/2 beast. These cards can see good play. I don't know how well though. 2 health is obviously a lot better than 1. But like, what was it? The has stealth, which is good, but unless you're playing like a super aggro deck, I don't really see where that would fit in that well. And next we have the Orni Diehorn, a 6 cost 5/5 with Taunt and a Battlecry Adapt. It's a warrior card. Seems pretty solid actually. With Taunt as well, yeah, could be good. Lot of Taunt stuff going on in the warrior decks. We've seen that a lot recently. I've tried to make Taunt decks before, they've all been terrible. That could just be because I am terrible, but you know, we'll see. Next up, another legendary, neutral legendary, 6 cost 6/6, Hemet, Jungle Hunter, Battlecry, destroy all cards in your deck that cost 3 or less. Why is that good? Destroy all cards in your deck that cost 3 or less. But it's only a 6/6 for 6. I don't get why that's good. If I missed something here, let me just have a look and see what people are saying about it. Destroy all cards in your deck that cost 3 or less. I don't get why that's good. That just seems terrible. It doesn't seem like it's good value in any way for what the Battlecry is. Okay, moving on. Perhaps you guys are watching this can tell me why that is good or how it works, because I can't think of it right now. It's the first time I've seen it, but I can't think why that would be good. Anyway, moving on. We have next the Frozen Crusher. It's a 6 cost 8/8 elemental. After this minion attacks, freeze it. So it is high statted for 6, but obviously the downside to that is that you could probably, unless you were to say silence it somehow, you can't really attack that well with it. You could get a taunt with it, like a Sun for your Protector or something like that. It would work quite well, but it can only attack like every other turn basically. So that's not great. But again, a 6 cost 8/8 is pretty good. So we'll see. Next up, the Cruel Dynamancer, 6 cost 5/5. Warlock card. Death Rattle, summon a random minion you discard in this game. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. I like that a lot. I like the discard mechanic. And that seems really good. So if you did lose your Jiraxis, or if you did lose, something you didn't want to, you could play this out and then when he dies you get that back. So that's actually really cool. The downside is your opponent will know what it is because they see the cards you discard, I think. So yeah, I like that anyway. Next up we have a mage spell, a 6 cost meteor, deal 15 damage to a minion, a bit overkill, and 3 damage to adjacent ones. That seems really powerful. As just a total wipeout. I mean, it's rare you find a minion with more than 15 health, so might as well just say kill a minion and do 3 damage to adjacent ones. It seems pretty rare that you will do any. You will find a minion with more than 15 health, unless people have. I mean, you've probably been dead before then if it's a Jade game or something, So I don't know, but a good solid card. Obviously can't attack face, otherwise that would be super powerful. But yeah, seems okay. Next up we have another Tar, a warrior Tar card called Tar Lord, 7 cost 1/11, and has taunt plus +4 attack during your opponent's turn. I think that's pretty good. That is a really solid taunt card. Obviously it can just be killed, it's not immune to spells or anything, but that seems pretty good. If you're making a warrior taunt deck, I can see a place for that. Yeah, I quite like it. I quite like these Tar cards. And next we have the 7 cost Stormwatcher neutral card, Wind Fury 4/8. I'm not a big fan of these high cost low attack Wind Furies personally. It seems okay, but I don't think I'd be using it that much, to be fair. Another 7 cost neutral, the 5/7 Sated Threshodon Death Rattle. I was going to say Battle Rattle. That should be a new one, shouldn't it? Battle Rattle. Death Death Rattle, summon 3/1/1 Murlocs, so some potential Murloc synergy there. But again, I don't know. Oh well, that would do it to Beast, so you have those synergies, but otherwise I don't really know. Next up we have the Giant Anaconda. This is a Druid card. Death Rattle. It's a 7 cost 5/3. Sorry, it's a Beast. Summon a minion from your hand with 5 or more attack. That's its Death Rattle, so that's pretty good. But obviously, crap stats for a 7 cost card. When, yeah, I mean, I think I'd rather just play 2 good cards than play 1 crap card and have it summoned on death for something else. So, yeah, I don't know. It seems really expensive for a 5/3. I know it's obviously got a really good Death Rattle if you're getting out of it like a Yasage or something, but yeah, I don't know about that one. Next up we have a neutral card, Blaze Caller, 7 cost 6/6 elemental. Battlecry, if you played an elemental last turn, deal 5 damage. It could be pretty good on there. 6/6 for 7, I've seen worse. Well, I mean, Giant Anaconda for 1. So it's fairly solid. It's an elemental, does damage. It seems okay, you know. If you're playing elementals, you can have a lot of elementals probably, so it's a pretty good chance you would have played an elemental last turn. Kind of feels like a what's the one? What's the dragon one? I can't remember the name now. I play it so much I can't remember it. But anyway, it's where if you have a dragon on board, or if you have a dragon in your hand, sorry, it does 3 damage. It's kind of a little bit like that. It seems really good. But it does 5 damage, which is good, and it's a bigger minion, but it does cost more, obviously. Next up we have the Fine Cleaver, which is the paladin weapon, 7 cost 4/3. But after your hero attacks, summon 2 1/1 Silverhand recruits. So yeah, very expensive weapon, but it's you get 3. You know, it's kind of like a silver. Oh god, I can't remember what they're called now. A True Silver Champion. It's kind of like a True Silver Champion, but way more expensive. Has an extra hit, and you get Silverhand Recruit. So I guess in a certain deck you could play into that. It could be quite useful, but I don't know. I'd have to play around with that one to really see how it would work. I don't know if on turn 7 with a Paladin you really want to be playing a 4/3 weapon. So we'd see on that one. Next up with the 8 cost 5/4 Tortle and the Primalist. Battlecry, discover a spell and cast it with random targets. Okay, it could be good. It's kind of like the Servant of Yogg-Saron, but a bit crapper and more expensive. I mean, you get to discover the spell, so there is that. It's not just a random spell, but like you could choose something which really buffs, and then it just buffs your opponent. God, I think that's like too random to be useful. And at 8 cost, like, you know, you could pyroblast yourself in the face, basically. Yeah, it just seems too random, I think, to actually have any sort of competitive use. Which is a shame. I think if it was a bit cheaper, it might be more fun, but 8 cost for a 5/4 is just dumb, I think. It seems really expensive. Next up we have the Primordial Drake, 8 cost 4/8. It's a dragon. First time I've seen a dragon. Dragons are dead. 2017 dragons are dead. Taunt it has, and its battlecry deal 2 damage to all other minions. That's decent, to tell the truth. That is pretty decent. That's kind of like a I forgot what it's called now. I'm terrible today, I tell you. But the Warlock card, Abyssal Enforcer. See, I get it eventually. Abyssal Enforcer, which you dump it on the board. That is a 7/7, but it doesn't have taunt, so and it's not a dragon. And this is a neutral card, so you can play in different dragon decks. I think that's pretty good. I'd probably play that in a dragon deck. See how it goes. Anyway, it is very expensive. You think about other 8 cost dragons you could have. You could have Chromagus, you could have Ragnaros. Well, I mean, you can't really. And he's not a dragon, but You see what I'm saying? It's maybe it wouldn't be too good, but as a board clear, it could be pretty good. Although 2 damage for board clear, is that really a board clear? It's not really. Anyway, next up on 8 costs, we have the Charge Devil Saw. It's a 7/7 beast. Neutral card, so any class can play it. It has charge, it's battle cry, it can't attack heroes this turn. Kind of reminds me of the, what is it, the Ice something or other? Ice Howl. Yeah, that's him, Ice Howl. Great for kind of clearing the board. Not great for doing much else. Although, sure, you can't attack heroes this turn, but you know, the charge, usually when you have a charge, you want it as like a finisher. But that won't do it, it'll just get rid of something on the board. Which you don't like. I mean, it could be good. 8 cost 7/7 is not great. Yeah, we'd see with that one. I don't know, perhaps where it would necessarily work. Next up we have a Priest spell. 8 cost spell, big one. Free from Amber. Discover a minion that costs 8 or more, summon it. I was thinking about this because it looks really interesting, but it's kind of like the spell. I'm terrible with names. I can't remember the name of the spell that you where it uses all your mana and summons a minion at that cost. It's kind of like that, but there's a potential that you could get a 9 or 10 cost minion for the 8. And again, it's discover, so you get the 3 options, it's not just random. So you know, you can choose what you wanted, and you summon it straight away. And when you summon it, it's battle cry go off as well. So it could be good fun. I don't know how competitive it is. It's a bit random. Like, why wouldn't you just put a good 8 in your deck? But it looks pretty cool. Not really complaining at that. And now we have some of the final cards, the big dinos or the big creatures. We have the 9 cost giant mastodon. It's a taunt 6/10 beast. Not a lot to say about that really. I think there's better cards out there. We have the 10 cost 7/14 beast, the ultrasaur. Okay, and we have the 10 cost. This is a legendary Tarantus 12/12. Can't be targeted by spells or hero powers. That's a big minion that can't be targeted by spells or hero powers. That's a damn big. Well, it's a druid card as well, so I should say it's druid. Yeah, you know, combo that with Menagerie Warden, and you are like, yeah, that seems really good. To be completely honest with you, quite like that card. But again, you have to get a turn 10 first, and I don't think Hunter's gonna let you do that. But we'll wait and see, won't we? But yeah, so that's part 2 of the look at the cards. When a load more are released, I'll go through and do a part 3, I guess. And we'll have a look at some more, depending, I guess, on what they release. As we go through, there's some very interesting cards there, for certain, on there. And I'm very positive about this expansion, but I'm also, the more I see the cards, I'm very worried that they're doing that thing where they point you in a direction of a particular deck type and go, we're just going to focus on that, make that really powerful, but then everyone's going to play it, and it's like, I'd rather they had, like, it was a little bit more grey rather than black and white, like, this is good, this is bad. There's a little bit more grey of, like, you know, gives people more chance to play around with things. Now I know you do always get the odd thing pop up which is a little bit random and like anti-meta and stuff like that, but I don't feel like there's enough of that out there. There's not enough variation, and I don't know. I think what they're hoping for with this is it's going to add like another 3 or 4 deck types to what people are already playing, but it's very dangerous to do that, because the potential is that people will just play those 3 or 4 new deck types and they'll be more powerful, especially when they're putting in cards which purposely counter those other deck types. So there's things which purposely counter Jade, there's things which purposely counter Pirate. So you know, if you're making those other decks weaker and then you're putting in much stronger decks, people aren't going to play those other ones, they're just going to move to these, and then you just get people playing 3 or 4 different deck types again. Now sure, if those deck types aren't the massively aggro, they're a bit longer game, a bit more skill comes into it rather than just plonk everything down and go face, there is that potential to have a lot more of an interesting meta. You know, for example, if people are only playing like different decks, but those decks are actually very interesting and very intricate and rely on skill rather than dumb luck, then that's not too bad, because you know you're going to see good players rise and you're going to feel a little bit more involved in what's going on. If you're just playing decks where you chuck something down and it's random, then you're not feeling too involved in it, I don't think. And you know, that's why I've always said, like, you know, I've always had this belief that the way Hearthstone is, the randomness of it is like, you know, anybody at any skill level, as long as they have a competent understanding of the game, could beat somebody who is even a professional just because of luck, because of card draw. You know, your opponent, you know, say you play somebody 20 times who's a really good player, you could beat them once just because they're not going to get the cards they need. You get exactly the cards you need, and you beat them, and that's okay. That's good because it gives you the chance. What you don't want is for suddenly that to increase to, like, you know, 5, 6, 7 times out of 20, where suddenly your opponent's like, you know what, I know I'm a better player than this person. I understand this better. I've seen them make loads of mistakes, but they're still beating me because I just either can't get the cards, or the cards I play, I don't get the luck of what I need. And you know, you get down that dangerous thing where you just try and balance everything too much. But anyway, but we do have more of a chat about that once we see all the cards and how we see, and certainly maybe I'll do a video like a few weeks into the expansion and chat about how I feel about it, because I do feel like this expansion, for me anyway, is important, because Hearthstone's an expensive game to play, and at its core it's a lot of fun, but it can also be incredibly frustrating. And my kind of point of view is, do I want to continue onwards playing something which gets very frustrating and just net decks all the time, and then have to pay, you know, £80 to £100 every expansion for the privilege of doing so? The answer would probably be no. So I don't know, we'll have a look at that when it comes out, but hopefully, fingers crossed, I can, because when Hearthstone is good, it is the best. You know, there's nothing else that beats it, but when it's bad, it's really bad. And so yeah, thanks a lot for watching. I'll catch you guys next time.